Hello, hello. This is the ABC transcription huddle for November 30th, 2022. And today it's all about the city of McMinnville. You've already seen the Trello card that has the backlog meeting minutes for the city of McMinnville. There's about 39 of them. Good news is we are slowly starting to work through them. I've had some feedback from the staff and I've had a couple of calls with them. So I wanted to distribute that information to the team, and then also just some ideas I had as far as how we're picking up these meetings. So let's just start with what that looks like. I'm going to share my screen here and go to the Trello. Okay, so when we go to this, as if you're not familiar with how we find these backlog meetings for McMinnville, it's different in that you're not going to get an assignment for myself or Laura per se. This is initiated by the transcriptionist, and you'll go to that, the template card. It is in the pre-assigned. You'll see it here. Can you guys see my screen okay?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. So you'll hit the backlog meetings, and then you'll see this Google sheet, McMinnville backlog meetings. And it literally takes you to this Google sheet, basically an Excel spreadsheet that shows you all of the meetings that we have in the kitty, if you will, for the city of McMinnville. And as you decide, in this case, Letty decided to take the 6/15/22, you put your name in, the date you've taken it, and it's up here, date acquired is the date you're assigning it to yourself, so to speak, and then your estimated time of submission, that estimated date that you expect to get it back on the Trello card and submitted. What this check mark here is for is once you have taken that meeting on this list, Laura, our amazing production assistant, is going to then make you your own Trello card. So then you can track how you upload what you upload your meeting to, what you upload your invoice to. And then when that Trello card is completed, she will check the box. This is kind of how she tracks all that. So that's how that's done. What we're wanting to do a little bit different is, rather than having 2 or 3 or 4 people on one board, I'm just going to encourage the team to stick to one board all by yourself. There's a number of reasons for that. And that one is, obviously you listen to what the hot points are. You can create your template and you're ready to, pop off to the next meeting because you'll have everything, your margins, everything is going to be set. You'll know what the hot topics are because you listened to the prior meeting, so you could kind of roll. And I think it'll help you to be a lot more efficient if we can keep on there. Now, I know this was pre this announcement, so I know Maddie and Claire were on the Affordable Housing Committee, so maybe we can work to split that up. Maddie take the first half and Claire just continue down on through to the second one, or the second and third, so that it's more congruent, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I just thought that might be the best approach for that. As you know, when you are on these backlog meetings, all of the files, the audio, everything you need is in that Dropbox, which is huge at this point. Everything has been uploaded, and we're just asking the team not to delete these. As we get them completed and we've got verification from staff, I'll go in and start taking out all that material, because that will give us more space. It's filling up. The good news is we've got another couple of transcriptionists in the kitty to come on board. However, I have decided to delay their onboarding until late January, early February. My real commitment is to all of you. You deserve as much of my time as possible. I know it's been wanky with my knee and all that stuff, but I really want to be available to you so we can really tighten up your training so you're working as efficiently as possible. We get this machine back on track, and then having my time well invested in our current team, then we can start onboarding this new transcriptionist. And I think we might even bring on another proofer by January, February. I'm not quite sure how that looks. The reason for that also is we got another call from the city of McMinnville, and they are currently behind at least 39 meetings. We were rough estimate, another 39 meetings for their city council. And one thing about backlogged, and I always affirm this with our clients, they know that backlog meetings take they take a back seat to everything that we do. So Astoria, Wilsonville, Banks, all of our regular contracts, those cities need that turnaround so that they're in for their next packet, right? With the
Right.
backlog meetings, if you are, if you know you've got a Hillsborough coming in, or you've got Redmond coming in, or you're ready to do your regularly scheduled transcriptionist file, don't hesitate to manipulate your deadline for a McMinnville meeting around that. Your main meetings always come first, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So,
Right.
likewise, I've also told the city of McMinnville that we're not even starting their city council meetings until late January, first part of February. So that'll give us some time to just a little bit of breathing room, as if the holidays aren't crazy enough for us to just really get into the meat of this. As Claire had mentioned, we know that the city of Hillsborough, for instance, a lot of cities just take December off. So that means no money coming in,
Yeah.
no work to do. So what a blessing to have all of these McMinnville meetings in the kitty. So that's why I really wanted to review a few things about that today. So any questions about the process, the production process of what I've laid out here yet today?
Yeah, I just wanted to know, pull one up and let's look at it and say, well, this is what we're looking at and this is what we need to do. That's my question. Where are we with this? I mean, I read a bunch of notes, just the copy there that they had. And
Are you talking about the list?
yeah, just pull one of the meetings up and let's just take a look at what they've sent to you, or what you've got posted up here, that we can take a look at and see how it's laid out.
Yep, we're going to look at that next. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just didn't know if the process made sense as far as getting the meetings and.
Oh, no, I'm
sure
good
we're
with that.
on track.
No,
Okay,
that's what I'm into the body of it. I'd like to know what we're doing
Excellent.
with the body of it.
Let's get to the meat. Okay, so still sharing screen. So I'm going to take this one first. So unlike a majority of our minutes, Astoria and Redmond are probably the closest mimic to what McMinnville is doing. And that's something we've talked about before, that we're really, as a company, ABC is looking to be the head and not the tail. Now, when a city talks to me about how do we do our minutes, I tell them how we do our minutes, not that we're over customizing for them. So McMinnville is a perfect candidate to that because they're a brand new client. Same with St. Helens, they're a brand new client. And so we've just kind of told them what really we want. What we get from them is how much summary mostly. And then we get a template, like in this instance, it's a bolded agenda meeting, or agenda items are bolded. The speakers are bolded, as they're down the thing that, there's some bulleting is allowed. So the general pieces are what we want feedback on. And then the most important is how much summary. In the city of McMinnville, and I think Claire,
this is my
meetings. Okay.
This is the one I did, and I'm sorry that I had to cancel our training because I did not do this very summarized, because that's what I had questions about, because they were interrupting each other and stuff like it wasn't contentious. It was just a lot of back and forth.
Yeah.
So
well, one of the things that just to note for everybody, and if you're watching this on recording, take a note for McMinnville, when there are discussions about the 3 Mile Lane project, that's what I've heard it's coming. If they get back to me that it's officially titled on something different, I will let you know in the Trello cards or whatever. But that is one huge road project that's going on in that city. It's going to be across all of our boards, especially city council. But I suspect McMinnville might be calling up a couple of these meetings saying, okay, we actually need a deadline on these, because now, because of things surrounding that project, it's being appealed at the state level.
okay.
And so that's where, once I get word, I don't know what meetings there are. They haven't asked for any yet, so we're not hurrying. But I can sense that might come in the future. So when we get to those, when you're transcribing a McMinnville meeting and they start talking about this 3 Mile Lane project, 3 Mile project, 3 Mile, I'm sure it's probably got a lot of different kind of names now because it's throughout their city and we know how people talk. That's when we're going to just go to a little more detail. We're going to really pull out a lot more of the details. Otherwise, yeah, it's super summarized. So as an example, I was hoping I could get this a portion of this transcribed or edited as a review, but generally as I go through these, this is the same approach that we use when we're in a work session format. For the presentations. He presented the land acquisition revolving loan program via PowerPoint, if it's on PowerPoint, and described the 1, 2, 3 points and responded to questions from council about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Super summarized. So I think this meeting is about an hour and a half, maybe it was 2 hours. It starts at 10 a.m. and it ended, oopsie, about an hour. So it's about an hour and 15 minutes. So this is actually, Claire, as you noted, this is a Hillsborough level detail, right?
Yeah.
Understood. It's okay. It's okay. And so this will be a great one. I'll use it with your permission. I could put this as a sample maybe on the page as some of the portions that we're sifting down. But generally, I suspect this file probably certainly won't be more than 5 pages. I'm thinking 3 to 4 pages long.
Okay.
So, and so I've got a sample of that just to.
Good. Okay,
save me
good.
talking. This was one of the first ones we vetted through their staff. They loved it. It was great. You can see, and what I'll do is I'll just blow this up and I'll just let you read what the writing style is like and how that summarization looks. And then we'll talk about the yellow areas.
Okay, they call their planners.
I think so.
Okay.
That's what I understood. I can double check. I'd have to double check the samples right now or the information. Was there a sample in your folder of a prior meeting?
There was no. After I did the meeting, I went and found a prior meeting, and that's when I knew I had too much detail because the prior meeting was like 90 minutes long and it was 5 pages. I was like,
okay.
wow.
So then that's a good reminder, whenever we start, if you can get your hands on a sample, that's great. From what I gathered from staff, they found like maybe 70% of the meetings on that list already have a sample minutes in there, for that particular board. But always, and I'll make a note to put that on the Trello card, is to please go grab a copy of the, a sample minutes, and they might be 2 years back, and that's okay. At least we can
That's
get
okay.
the
Yeah.
formatting.
As long as you have a reference.
Yeah. And then, like, to your point, a planner or Mr., we'll know how they title it. But you can see, members asked clarifying questions about the landscape islands, how the garbage enclosure was handled, and if this planner had saw any other changes. Then he provided, additional information, or he also provided information about building permit, details about the applicant's request, and the zoning. The waiver was my word. So as I was going in and editing, this was spot on. There was maybe a 3 or 4 minute discussion about I just did that. There was a 3 or 4 minute discussion about all about this garbage enclosure. What she has there's fine. They talked about the garbage enclosure. That's it. That's all we need. If he had saw any challenges, he provided additional information about the permit and details of the applicant's request, which, as I was listening to it, the request was about a waiver. And so as a general rule, they're already, even a landscape review is just a general request, but the request is a waiver. A waiver is something that is I want to go outside the rules. And so I had this transcriptionist just re-edit this and fill in like, okay, what the applicant's request about a waiver. And it could be that simple. Provided details about the applicant's waiver request. That's all they would need to change. So it's not like you're adding sentences and sentences. It's just, you're just inserting words, those little bit of descriptions just to make it more clear for the record. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So then the applicant, he's giving a detailed explanation about her plans. And for those of you who know, this is how Letty works. She ads. It starts about 8:20, it ends about 14 minutes in. So you can get a feel for, okay, this is how long this is going to take. And likewise, as I was proofing it, I knew that I got this much, I've got roughly 6, 7 minutes to go, in this very section. One other thing her and I talked about was, okay, he answered questions from the committee members about how many parking spots he needed and how traffic would flow through the parking lot. And he answered the questions, but if the committee is asking an applicant, we want the applicant's responses in there. So in this case, and I forget what the exact numbers were, he addressed questions from the committee, noting he needed 5 parking spots and that traffic would flow east to west from First Street to Avenue B.
Okay.
Did that make more sense?
So, and in the case where they give those specific answers to the questions that are asked outside of presentations given,
Yes.
we need more details from the applicant in their response.
Yeah.
Okay.
And her,
Okay.
because honestly, by the time we rewrote this sentence, and I don't have the final up, I apologize, but in rewriting this sentence, it didn't make the sentence that much longer. We just changed the focus. So, yes, he answered questions stating he needed 5 parking spots and traffic would flow east to west,
Okay. All right.
She inserted the questions rather than the answers. That simple.
Okay.
And that was really the only corrections on this file. I mean, the committee members, the planner, and the applicant discussed the application, starting with the requirement. I mean, this was 20 minutes, this little paragraph. And that goes back to that we talked on a prior training about just kind of getting those, as they're talking, you're just putting in, I call them chicken scratches. Just my little brief notes. Oh, this is all about the the requirement to install an island. Okay, that's one topic. And then they talk about this topic. Sometimes that's an easier way to break it down. And, it's kind of, I used to think it's so disconcerting, here we are, charging so much per hour and we're only giving them 3 pages for an hour and a half meeting, but you have to listen to the entire thing. You're still rewriting, rewording. It's easier, we all know, to type verbatim on these things. So
yeah,
you're still investing your time. It's less typing, but sometimes it's thinking in a different way.
So that whole section on the island, instead of, if you'd gotten this file from me, I would have tried to find videos so I could individually identify every committee, but that probably erases a good 10 minutes of it, just grouping together committee member questions.
Yeah.
And so I'm assuming maybe with the city council, they'd want more like Hillsborough or Lake Oswego.
Nope.
No, they don't. Okay.
Nope. McMinnville, they're 2 years behind. And so her response to me was, at this point, we've just been sending people the video or the audio for them to, if they have a question about the minutes. And then from their standpoint, legally, you just need the gist. Even legally, this is still pretty meaty.
Yeah.
There was nothing controversial they discussed. Then it's just voted unanimously to continue, or motion to pass. Okay. Passed unanimously. So this just gets a little bit of a gist of what the discussion was about,
Okay.
And it's still like, we're still segmenting it, staff presentation, applicant presentation, Q&A, general discussion. This is what they agree. This is what their decision was about this continuance. And this was the vote.
Okay.
Next.
Okay.
So I think once we start getting some traction on these, you guys are going to fly. Like this is going to be great Christmas money. I'm just saying that out loud.
Well, can we, would it be possible to go back to the affordable housing file for a second?
Oh, yours, yeah, betcha. Oops, sorry. Okay,
So on this one, just if we, like, how would we go through? Because this, obviously this meeting, there's a quorum, but you know, they give these separate committee reports.
Okay.
And
Is that
then
on the updates here, or is it up above here?
it's up above there.
Okay.
So these are the individual like reports. You know, well, this is a summary of information in the packet. And he said, this is just a summary of the information in the packet. Should it just be left as that? Because he's just going through what's in the packet.
Absolutely. All of this can
Okay.
go. And I would
Okay.
just say, yeah, provided.
Did you say all of it could go? I couldn't hear.
Yeah, all of this can go because
Could
all of it's
go.
in the packet.
Okay.
And I was just thinking about this sentence.
Yeah, it is. It's a recap.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe, because this is a committee, or this is.
It's just yeah, this took me a while to discern what was going on. This is the planner who, from what I can tell, they've only got like 2 planners working for them right now.
Oh, it's a tiny city. Yeah.
So they must have one planner reporting to each of these separate committees. And so he's the planner reporting to this committee. The committee is discussing affordable housing. They've got this, you know, the construction excise tax, and they're trying to decide what to do with it. And part of that is deciding whether to have a community land trust or a land bank.
Okay.
And so he has, I think at the prior meeting, said that he would pull together this information, and
Okay.
this is the information he pulled together.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, presented a summary of the information regarding a community land trust versus a land bank as presented in the
Okay.
packet.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah. And then, you know, these additional comments and responses from staff, you could just, that way we can just eliminate this, identifying the person.
Okay.
Interesting and helpful commentary. He had only read through attachment 4. Who cares? Read more of your information, buddy. The material helped clarify the distinction between. Then we can get rid of. So I'm just saying, like, so, you know, then we don't need pronouns anymore.
It would be helpful if Hillsborough would move in that direction.
Right. Let's see. So in this instance, this particular person is stating he's more in favor of the land trust, but now he's more in favor of the land bank. So I would just say the land bank was preferred because it could lead to the land trust. I'm paraphrasing because I'm just doing this on the fly, right?
Okay.
So I think, yeah. So then we can just pull this information out. And I'd actually, let me say that again, because, and again, it's spitballing here. Is Vicky a member of the committee?
Yes.
Okay. So committee members discuss the pros and cons of land trust versus land bank.
Okay.
Experiences and professional input and experiences were shared about the Yamhill County Commission. I mean, I don't know, you know, questions were addressed about multifamily housing qualifications. Find another question here. You know what I'm saying? Just pick up
Yes.
the points and move on. So even all of this would probably be, you know, a couple of paragraphs.
Okay.
The only reason I would pull out someone's name is if, and we've discussed this as with all of our meetings, if someone says, I am absolutely opposed to us ever doing a land trust or a land bank or both.
Okay.
Strong opposition. Okay, let's note why. You know, he was strongly opposed because, and then it's in the record.
Okay. Okay. And so maybe for the rest of this, like you were saying, discussing land bank versus land trust. sourcing input from regional professional organizations or
Mhm.
the opportunities to source input from other regional organizations.
As an idea, yeah. Yeah, I'd have to read it specifically. Like I said, I was just kind of, spitballing it, but yeah, that's the right track on these.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then on the staff comments where he goes into the building, he was, I think that was the final piece. I think the planner was just speaking off the cuff.
Okay. Well, usually if it's a staff comments or updates, they're updating the committee. It sounds like the Baker Street lofts, right?
Yes.
Generally, okay, it had burned down. So probably there's been talk in the town, like, when are we going to get this building repaired,
Yeah.
renewed, so forth. So it makes sense that he would make an update. Are you saying off the cuff, meaning there was no supporting staff report or materials?
Yeah. So,
Okay.
and everything, they didn't have any like presentations. It was all packets.
Mhm.
So yeah, I couldn't find what he had. I mean, he asked if if this person had spoken with Vicky yet, and Vicky was like, no, I haven't spoken with them. So
Yeah, and that's a good thing to include that. But yeah, you just say updated on the Baker Street lofts, noting there was a 17 to 24 units, and the building would be completed next spring. I don't know.
Okay. No, he was talking about how the building, they were taking advantage of changes to the city code, allowing them to put in more than the originally planned 17 units.
That's exactly what I would type then. Just what you said.
Okay. All right.
Well
Okay.
done, Claire, on the fly.
Well, this makes me less nervous about doing the other affordable housing committee ones. Now. I knew I like, as soon as I submitted, I was like, there's no way this is 14 pages.
Well, you had quite a hectic time, so it's all good. Made for good training.
Yes, well, sorry, this is off of McMinnville.
Okay.
Lake Oswego, this meeting that I'm doing now is another 4 hours and 40 minutes.
Oh, okay.
I put up the first 2 yesterday.
Oh, thank you.
I've got a little over 2 hours left now. And I'm wondering if I can extend the deadline to Friday night instead of Friday at 1.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yep. I'm in a conference all day, so I won't be out till 6. So,
okay.
And as you can see, I'm behind. So yes,
I know, but
thank
I
you.
feel bad about I don't want to make you more behind. I thought I'd get more time over Thanksgiving weekend, and everybody ended up sick. And
Oh, wow.
well, this is apparent. All these kids are getting sick this year, and it's not just my kid.